All right. So first things first, I'm going to start with IWM. And we did, in fact, on all major ETFs, finally see some push in a direction. We woke up yesterday, zero volume. Today, barely any, and then now we're finally getting some resolve. So this is hopefully going to signal something. It's getting close to doing exactly that. And that downside play that we were talking about, like with the IWM here, holding underneath that open and possibly driving through the 180, 160 down into that 175 level underneath us. The Qs, right? Those are basically the same deal. Better look on the hourly. This is actually looking to successfully close back underneath 440.50, which is significant. Actually, it did. It just did. It seems like it's retesting right now as we speak. So the goal here is to move through this wick down to that 435 and flush into tomorrow for 2434. Right. So with this momentum, obviously an empty space up above us, this can, the further we fall, the better the hedge gets if we need it or see that that is necessary. Um, what's up, brothers? Yeah, Baba's. If you guys took Baba with me, that's just tapping 200% here, so not a bad swing trade at all. Thinking about swinging that one, but again, it's day by day China news. So, all right. So the Qs and IWM, Qs probably more giving that potential downside signal. We're going to wait for a 24-hour candle close and some of these higher time frame candles just to see where exactly we're going to close here. So, you know, if we bounce off of an imbalance or something of that nature. We have two safeguards on the Qs right now. This 444.50, or excuse me, 443, and the floor that we're trying to hold below now. So we're looking pretty good. Now I will keep, and we should keep in mind that this is going to be target related, right? I'd love to be able to take it all the way down, but I have to keep in mind on the IWM and everything else that 128 is that target underneath us. So if you're swinging to the downside or whatever, if we fall before the end of the day, we're already in those shorts. We just broke 440. Just got oh man, beautiful. Yeah, just broke 440, so I'm hoping that we make most of this move here before the end of the day, and that'll, you know, obviously change what we do here. So, SPY looking pretty good. Same thing, you dropped down, you could not hold, and you have pushed off. So we're looking for a candle close underneath 518 for that next leg down. This one doesn't have that same channel, right? I think it was from the open here down to here, so it's just barely there, but that does give you the 502 target, 503.85 target down below with this punchback and candle close successfully underneath. Now, if you're a newer trader, I want you guys to pay attention when I did my live yesterday or the day before that. Um, this is the difference, right, between I'm not sure because we're opening or we're not giving a signal to there is intra range signals being flashed now that are a little bit more or a lot more confident. So this is, you know, a big I can definitively again draw lines in the sand and say we are underneath 529.85. We're moving through cost basis and we're looking for a break under 518 to continue this breakdown. So SPY, IWM, and Qs all pushing down into their boxes or below their boxes and looking to go and try and eat up some of that empty space down below. Now, here is a something we can use as a tool going forward. How do we fall? And most of you in the Discord know the answer to this, and some of you on TikTok. We're looking to fall fast, whether that's a gap down, right, or by the end of the day we're flushing. That's either or is fine with me. If we dump before the end of the day, that'd be great. Maybe a little bit of a preference there, but and we're moving through structure right now, so it's not moving very quickly. But once we get into this empty space, you should expect to see a pretty nice breakdown. So you'll buy a new one. What? New what? I forgot what I said. Huh?
IWM's below 183 now.
Yep. Yeah, that one's trying to make its way to 180, 174 here. Oh, Mike. There you go. Perfect. Next. All right. So all three ETFs looking pretty good to the downside. BABA doing pretty well. We can, I'm not sure how many of you guys are in here. Didn't hear much of a response, so figuring not many people are in this with me. But there is a pretty decent wall, right, or structure that we've dropped down into. So right now, we got to stay underneath there. Any gap up, anything like of that nature around 106, 108 or 108.75 can put us in the danger zone. But this one is not too far off from everything else where we're still holding the channel here. And this one, obviously, I would prefer, and I'm sure all of you would as well, a punch down and a move to the 97 area. So I'm holding for now. I'm looking at the hourly time frame to look at how this box was developed. And it was developed by basically empty space both ways. Big pop up, big pop down, big pop up, big pop down. And so I'm hoping that that allows us to see some fluid, and we're seeing decent fluid price action, but most of this is going to occur overnight. So, all right. Without any further delay, we'll go ahead and take a look at whatever stocks you guys are looking at going into the end of the day. I'll take your request. I'm happily situated in some downside positions. Again, tomorrow's, or obviously today, you're playing with fire because we're getting towards the end of the day. But if you are in tomorrow's contracts, those price targets are going to make for pretty good target-based contracts. So,
Potter, real quick, you said you weren't sure if you were going to hold off through tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to. Yeah.
Okay, mine's free as well, but I was going to trim a couple more, but it looks really good. So I don't know if
it's worth, I think, the speculation. Maybe I grab something small to the upside just in case. We know how BABA behaves. So, but other than that, no, I feel pretty good holding on to what I got. So, again, with the Qs, anything close to around 525 for tomorrow. And those they are a little.
You mean 425?
425, sorry. They are a little pricey. But that would be, maybe you just buy less. But they were a little cheaper earlier. This was the break, so I'm not sure how people situated themselves, but 447 was that entry from today. 2 off the top, three down the bottom. Damn, baby, we are dumping.
Yeah, we're fucking moving right now.
You guys should be printing. I'm gonna go ahead and trim some contracts off here. What were you guys? What are you guys trading here to the downside? You got any 440s or 437?
437. I'm in some 440s for today.
What'd you get those?
They were 27 cents, and now they're 225.
That's beautiful.
I got some 523 spies.
Perfect. Good job. Good job. Yeah, the 440 strikes. You're good. Yeah, I got 437s and 440s. I got them at the 437s. I got those at like 50, and then at 40, and then I got the 440s a little bit earlier, and I got those around 31. So got a better entry than me, fam. I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention, but I was on the phone. So
just hit 1,000% on them.
Trying to catch up, buddy. Calm down. 1,000% beautiful. Ew, and I cannot, even if you didn't catch this.
45 cents. I paid 9 cents for it as a hedge yesterday.
Jesus, dude, beautiful. Yeah, if you did this correctly, and you chilled, and you did not yesterday and today, you sat, and man, that was a beautiful example. What we're seeing right now in front of us, this is a beautiful example of contraction and expansion. So pretty impressive. Good job. I'm hoping that we go to this floor here. I might be hollering here.
You think once like Robinhood contracts close for the day, we might see another big move because they close in like 18 minutes.
By the end of the day, yeah, I could see it
And
right
it's
now.
just like nothing like crazy, but either just
So
like
right now,
I
I didn't mark this out. We're at the imbalance on this big green candle here. So if we break below that, I mean, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go to that 434.60. So unavailable. I'm not sure how long you said you did it, but it's been unavailable since Friday. I'm not really. It usually takes like 3 or 4 business days sometimes, depending on how you wire it, and depending on who you have when you do. I'm up 500% on NVIDIA thanks to you. You got to push the button, man, not me. You don't think, DeWalt when you get a construction job done. You did the work. So good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm just the toolsmith. Pause. All right. Anyway, let's see here. What do we got? SOXL down. Okay, so we'll leave Qs over here. SOXL down. All right, so you're on the floor, right? Inside of a large area of consolidation. So just really simple. I mean, I could just go ahead and say 771. Seems extremely obvious. But moving down, that dynamic changes a little bit where you have a box and you're nearing cost basis, which is going to give you that more than the low. So maybe we do get that break. But yeah, I would be paying attention to 820 here. So the Q trade is free, so I'm hanging on to these runners. I got 15 left. What was the NVIDIA take? Right now, like with yesterday we talked about it. We talked about this morning, being underneath 106, a high probability of it dropping through that empty space down to the structure. It did. So now, I don't know, right? Now, I know that might seem crazy, but it's like, how do you, until this candle, I have 45 minutes, right? To be sure. If you close underneath 101, I know, right? I can tell you better. That's going to be 98.50. If you close and maybe you go green, well, you could be looking at a retest. Obviously, we're pointing down, and we have, I think every reason to believe that there's likely going to be continuation that way. And I think that brings you down to 93 on a successful punch down, but it's the structure at 98 that you, with the cost basis of 98, that you need to break. So today was awesome. Yeah, today was great. And what am I? Yeah, right now I'm holding puts into tomorrow. I have BABA and the Qs, so I'm gonna grab some. If we continue to hold underneath these levels, yeah, more than likely will be. Every Sunday I go live. So, by the way, if you guys are on here on TikTok, be sure to tap your screen. Be so cool. All right, so moving forward, we have Google, which looks very much like everything else. I could see a really strong gap down tomorrow. I'm not a genie, but I feel it in my bones. I feel like we could gap down. And where does that happen? On the 24th, since we lack structure, it's 149.77. That's where you drop. So a gap down underneath that could give you a flush intraday, but let's go ahead and look at the 4-hour. Okay, so let's actually look at this. Do you see that candle open at 145.50? Watch when I go to the 4. Do you see where that box is? Now go to the 2. Do you see the box now? That box represents the open. that bottom of the candle, that, because I'd always tell people, you know, again, 24-hour candles, tops and bottoms, the first green one to your left underneath the red candle closed at 149.50.75 is 145.50, which is your next target underneath the wick, period. Right? See how that ties together? Because again, we're looking at fractals. We're going down. Oh shit. Dude, that's it, bro. I'm hiring mobile groomers. I've got like 2 dogs worth of hair in my office right now. I just cleaned 2 days ago. Yeah, they're adding a lot of fear to the China trade, or the China setup. So yeah, it's one of those things where it could be overnight that China, you know, again, we can only expect that stuff overnight. So without the L, it should be the same. Goog and Google, yeah, should be. It's the exact same except for different prices. So 142.19, and you're down here at 148, replicating basically what you saw in the video. But I mean, that's not a bad setup at all. Yeah, no problem. If you, yeah, even 24. The 24 is a little different, you know, with the red candle close being at 151 and the 144 bottom. So, what happens with the options if they delist Baba? You're cooked. But we'll see.
Keep it simple.
All right, ARM. So another one that looks like it can't hold on to its floor as we go into the end of the day. 4 hour shows a little bit of a different story where you're still holding on, right? And it would be a 4 hour candle close underneath 97.80. This is just not a bad setup. You know, you have the 94.20 directly underneath you. You've already tapped the wick, so I'd imagine you could get past that wick. The hourly, right, basically says that if you close back down underneath $96, that there's a high probability that you would be moving back down here. As I said this morning and pretty much all this week, all the setups look the same. So if we're right about one, we're probably right about many. So, you know, even if you can't speculate on the cues, there's something else out there. 100%. So Disney down. Now Disney did in fact fucking, I mean, I didn't even look at it today. But it went down to that box, right? So the signal remains 81.80 or 81.20, right? Punch down, and then we can, or the floor $80, and then we're looking at, you know, obviously 77.50. I have 67, but you know, there's going to be bumps in the road on the way there, so it's not full empty space. New lows looks like coming on the cues here. Let's look at the 30-minute. Brian. Would this set up for a day trade? I mean, I think it's setting up for a swing trade. Excuse me, sorry. Allergies are killing me. All right, Disney. So yeah, we're looking for a punch down, you know, again, a gap down, something like that overnight. And then at the same time, right, this is a little different where it seems like it's already progressed past. It's almost leading. You know what I mean? Like other stocks are just coming down here. It came down, it's filled its empty space, right? And so at this point in time, you know, yeah, a little bit more bearish here than anything else, but it is the hourly punch down that is needed here. So, yep. All right. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. Appreciate you. Nice job, Q's. Keep pushing. Right. UPS down some more. Yes, good one. Nice. So you're looking right here, right? Maybe with a little bit of trim action around there. Good job. I have nothing to say other than you're good. Floor, mark it out. Make sure you have like a 30-minute. There it is. 30-minute floor right there. That's where it's clear. So 94.05, you're on your way. 2 targets, and then, you know, if you're looking for even more signal here, yeah, it's this box underneath you. So that's very obvious. All right. TLTR down. Am I swinging the Qs? I do have a Q position, yes. Targeting the 430s, 427 mark. All right. So let's see here. That's interesting. So let's come up with some simple definitive lines, okay? Because this is one that could be elusive to those who are maybe newer to the system, right? So you got 2 rejections here. That's fine and dandy. That comes off of the green candle over here to your left, and you're pulling back, right? So when you break out, what do you not want to do? Fall underneath where you tried to break, right? So we need to take that concept and find that same thing here. So where are we closing? Looks like PLTR is trying to close back underneath that floor. Now let's go into greater detail. So now we have a box and a box. And you're here, right? Now on the hourly, it's going to be right around 92.15 where you would risk a pop back up. So you have a gap to fill at 88.47, and that is more than likely going to get hit here momentarily. I would venture to guess. If you close there and don't respond to it, or if you push through it, then I think the obvious target would be at 82.89. And at that point, it would be on you because you got a lot to work through. You can't have to admit. 82.75, 79, and 74.60 or 74.70 would be the key mark here. So, all right, come on, Qs.
Hey Potter, on the Qs, is that something you're gonna take like a full position on, or are you just gonna kind of go light on it?
Well, if the runners go well, I'll add to it for sure. I would say it's a, you know, I mean, I put in about $1,700, so, yeah, I mean, it's a reasonable position here to the downside. It will be hedged. Yeah.
Hey Potter, with that, do you think, like, in the off chance Netflix has amazing earnings, it would like negate some of the downside on the Qs?
Netflix would have to have a insane earnings.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. Just, I know sometimes they move a lot.
Yeah, no, Netflix is, you know, maybe primed to do something of that nature, but it would have to snap over 1,000, and it would have to likely go to the previous highs of 1,065 for me to hold on. Trimming 200% on Baba here. Again.
Damn, dude, I should have never got rid of my fucking 440s, Potter. I sold them.
How many did you have?
I bought 40 of them for at 16 cents earlier, and I trimmed half of them when it was at like 400%. And then I had 20 left, and then when it was bouncing back up, I ended up getting rid of them. So yeah.
So here's what, whenever you get down to that last 50%, what I do is I trim in quarters. So that's my whole position now, and I trim in quarters. And then, you know, with the Qs, I get the bounce back up, but you know, what my question was when it did break down, and this is what, you know, keeps me in a position, is what is it recovering? And when it made that flat top here, it wicked out. I kind of just, I was focused because this happened to me the other day, candle close. And obviously that did not, that floor that we expected to bet. So that's one thing that, is also really important. Is like we should always expect for something to bounce. This is a perfect example of how you respond to that floor. Did you bounce up and grab anything? No. So I get it. That was, I mean, especially
Yeah,
when you're
I
up that
mean,
much, I get it, but that just for next time, to keep in mind.
for sure. Yeah, I panicked because it fucking burned me before. So I still made a bag, so it's all good, man. I'm not gonna complain about it. But
And it always makes me laugh sometimes because I'm like, damn, we only got 500%. Right. So yeah, maybe there's a hedge. I'm watching right now. I'm looking at the chain on the cues to see where I want to place a hedge, because I need to know what the worst case scenario is for us. And depending on how, yeah, we're doing great right now for our candle close. So it seems almost inevitable that I see 538. What is this? It's 532.90. Yeah, it really does seem like we're gonna close below that and then go straight there.
I got the 530s for tomorrow too. I got 15 contracts for tomorrow. Those are already in the money too.
So apparently if you panicked, not, he said, I got out in a video, panicked at 100%. I need you to be as real as possible with yourself and at why. Was it the chart or was it the money? And if you can answer that simply and not bullshit yourself, this is for anybody. Was it the money or was it the chart? And then if it was the chart, what was the candle? What made you get out? And then reflect on that. You write it down.
It was took half my position because I was afraid that it could rip the other way, just in case, with Powell speaking.
Got you. And so there's always going to be something on the chart, right, that's going to let us know you're going up now, right? And when Powell spoke, right, my stop loss was on the floor. Right? And this, I guess, right before he spoke. That retest and what I'm describing as that bounce, right, that we got momentarily, went back up to retest the floor that you had lost over here to your left, right? So I was with you guys on that bounce. I was on the phone actually. And that retest back up was the floor that we had initially broken. And so when we fear, right, is typically a response to, and maybe in the moment, just for a moment, you don't know. And that pop or that variable of having Powell speaking, like, brings in, the fear of being washed out really quickly. But it's always on the chart where if you had gone up and closed 444, is a high probability you would have gone up and touched that floor again. Absolutely. So
that's where I make a mistake all the time, man. I kind of should just wait for the candle to close instead of panicking. But yeah, I mean, I'm still learning, Potter. So
oh yeah, of course, man. The fact that you've been, making as much money as you have and you're still learning, dude, I mean, that's beautiful. So even with the pitfalls that we normal people would set as goals. You know what I'm saying? Like 500. Oh man, I sold too soon at 500%. I'm sure somebody could justify that immediately and be like, nope, that's crazy. Like, that's total. So yeah. All right. What else do we got? Elf down. Wow. So it's just the wick you need to clear at 48.50, but this is a weekly play. Where are you going to hit? Ooh, damn, that's a lot of empty space. So I would be aiming for 48.50, and I'd be aiming for 43.88 and 40. I'd be aiming for 40. Might take a little longer because the weekly, but yeah, I mean, that 24-hour candle leaves and closes underneath the floor, maybe retests tomorrow, but I mean, that's about as best or good as it gets, I suppose. So, test stock market is crashing. Well, this is not a crash. I would say this is more of like a candle dripping, A crash, trust me. I mean, we got close to it recently with we bounced around the circuit breakers, and that was like, you know, them trying to save face. So Tesla did. I mean, this was quite literally to a T exactly what we talked about this morning, right? Save for you haven't hit 432.82 yet, but you did bounce right around the wicks, right? Right around that previous resistance, but you closed underneath the floor. So again, right? And this is where hedging is, going to be important, because where are you at on Tesla? You have, and I hate to say you have three potentials, because that's all the potentials, but first, because I'm not going to answer whether we have continuation to the downside when you're inside of a 24-hour or weekly range, when you have not triggered something that makes sense. So the cost basis is 226.11. If that breaks and you close underneath 232.86, that's short, right? Real quick, hold on a second. Might end up moving back up to that box 441. You could try to use 439.40 or 440 as a stop loss if you grab hedges now a little bit early. If you short, do something about it, or if we recover something that where you got in, then just get back in at the end of the day or hedge yourself. So I will probably will not have a discount on the workshop, guys. I feel like it's a discount on its own. You get access to the workshop forever, and then you get 4 months in the Discord at your choosing, or at your whatever you choose. So I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but it's already discounted, because 3 months, the quarterly is cheaper, or is not much cheaper. So I mean, you're, if anything, getting one or the other for free. So no, it's 500. But if you don't want to pay anything, go to my YouTube. All right, Tesla. Are Nike calls cooked? I would say they're pretty close to deep fry territory. Yeah. This isn't enough of a move to just say yes, but the period end of story here, probably best. Yeah, look at that. I don't try to develop strong opinions inside of areas of consolidation until one or the other breaks. It's just a cage. Now, refusing cost basis, that's one thing. Punching down below a lower time frame box, that's another. But it's still 52. That would be the target underneath you there. So that's the third one. So
Can I ask something about stop losses?
sure.
So, like on the Qs, for example, I have a stop loss at like 439.50. We've got 10 minutes left in this candle, but it's already ripped past it. I guess holding to candle close in these market conditions can absolutely fuck your contracts. So, is there ever time you just close it when it breaks and not the candle close?
So typically, if I am moving up, I immediately go and look at what's above that, right? And there is a limit on, like, sometimes it just is what it is. You just get the fuck out. On like you said, you have a candle close that maybe doesn't close on the 10, but that's where you have to use a lower time frame, right, in order to be able to track that. So like right now, I'm watching the Qs on the 3. And that little line, that first green candle that I just put to the left, it just rejected that. So above, right, the candle closes here, which we don't have a box. It's tough we don't have anything structural yet. We're building it. So I have to go with the candle closes or whatever floor is up above me. And that's like, if it surpasses my target and it goes and taps, or breaks up on that, okay, I'm done. Or even just candle closes above that. But yeah, it's typically when you have like a higher time frame candle that you're waiting to close, you have to move down. into a lower time frame. And then if you can see, like if I look at this one, you know, on the 5 minute, it would be a candle close underneath 538.50, you know, for continuation of the downside. And now I could, off of 440, because it did just reject, I could say, yeah, that's where we more than likely go up. So I'm out there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I just zoom in sometimes. I feel like sometimes I'm afraid to zoom in even further than like the 15. So
You listen, you've seen me on the 45 second. I am
yeah,
it's like that tool in your toolbox that like you don't use but for like particular jobs, you know? Like I only pull that tool out, you know, the lower time frames out when it makes sense, because I can't make sense of anything higher. Empty space is, while you're making it, can be, you know, as you're nearing targets, it can be fucking confusing. So you move down, and the faster you go, the more structural the lower time frames will be, where there is none. So it's like, yeah, you don't want to be at some point hourly candle closes below the floor and you got empty space underneath you. I don't need to monitor, right? I'm just, you know, maybe 15 or something like that. But if I'm ripping and we hit the imbalance in empty space on, you know, upside or downside, then at that point, yeah, I would use a lower time frame to map out where is this where, if this is where we can bounce, what needs to be recovered and how. So it's all problem solving.
Hey Potter, on
So like
Google.
Sudoku.
Oh, I'm sorry. On Google, I have you in between two 4-hour boxes, and we're trying to like
I
retest.
actually waited for the candle to close today, and that really freaking helped me, man. I didn't get out scared
Hold on one
and
second.
sell for a loss.
You might have somebody muted here. Somebody was just talking. Hold on one second. What was it? Finish that. On Google, you have us in between two boxes.
Yeah, I had an on the 4-hour that we were actually in between two 4-hour boxes, like right there, painting it up right before the gap is where I have the top of my 4-hour box. So right where we're at right now is the bottom of my box.
There. Oh, so you're doing
And
this.
then and then the ceiling of my box is actually at the beginning of the gap, not where it restarted.
You talking about like right here, down there?
No, a little bit lower.
Oh, like here.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't be. This is 4-hour. You have the same wall right here. Look at the candle closes. Same thing right there.
Okay.
And then the bottom I have candle close. So on a 4-hour time frame, yes. Now lower time frame, and this is where you can't blur the two. Lower time frame, you know, you could say I'm in between here and then the bottom of your box, which you're trying to push through right now. But yeah, I think it's more or less like we're at the floor of a 4-hour box with, and technically we have to wick down. But you know, closing like this end of day is definitely going to set you up for that empty space leg down tomorrow potentially. So
Okay, thank you.
mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm sorry I cut you off, whoever it was.
You might have him muted. It's OC Pet Doc.
Okay, I do. I have a couple people muted.
Yeah, it's probably left our mics on or something like that. So
No, bad on me as well.
it's all good. Yeah, you guys couldn't hear each other. So all right. Box 152.80, empty space back up. So we get a quick leg end of day, and there you go. Do you see how the candle's fucking responding? Do you see what happens when price moves up above that first green candle right there? Now, where those orders take you, right? I think we see 440.80 here. You know, that's really lower time frame. I'm looking at these candle closes right here at 440.80, but on a higher time frame, this is just empty space back up to 441. But you can see when you trigger that computer does its job, price moves up, but that computer doesn't have the juice to get you to the next wall. It'll flirt around for a while or it'll fail. So don't worry, you can always enter at the end of the day. If you have to get out or reposition yourself, it's just business. Oracle. Same ding. So what? It's so curious to me why some are that some have and some have not. Right? With Oracle, amongst other ones, you've already gone and filled up that empty space. Some stocks you have not. So it makes me curious. Dude, this channel is not to be ignored. If I was taking it in either direction, either direction, I would be hedging.
These contracts are so fucking expensive for tomorrow.
Yeah, they're a little pricey. Remember, at the beginning of the stream, we do QQQ, SPY, all ETF review, except for the Dow. All right. So, I mean, yeah, again, with Oracle, I mean, you're bouncing exactly where you're supposed to bounce. You've got empty space back up above you. You just turned green on the 15 and the hourly. So I would be looking right here, 129.38, to see if you're going to pop up and go hit 130 tomorrow. Honestly, this could be a, you know, if this does end up bouncing, if the market does end up seeing some sort of recovery tomorrow, which moment is hard to envision, but depending on where we pull ourselves back up, you know, 443 on the Qs, yeah, you could see inevitably this one day will, or, you know, maybe sooner than later, be a good play back up to the upside, because when it's a loose box, empty space, you hit 133.80 pretty easy. So with IWM, I mean, I don't know where you bought them, and again, I can't tell you yes or no, but if you're above 187, you'll go and hit 191. This is the toughest part, right? Because 24-hour candles are, you know, obviously some of the most important things. And trading inside of the box and speculating inside of the box, all we can do is go down to a lower time frame, right? But it still doesn't give you the higher time frame signal. So anything that we do, you know, right now with the Qs, that was a pretty definitive move with a lower time frame setup, you know, and I still have faith that it can follow through. Now I don't like the empty space back up. It is what it is. And if we can pull ourselves back up off of that imbalance bounce back up to 443, yeah, you're going to, if you do decide to take it down, that signal would maybe shut itself off or require that you absolutely hedge. So, but right now I'm not trying to drive fear. We're just going to wait for the candle, which we still have, you know, 15 minutes. So, all right. What's up, TikTok? Won't let me be great. Yeah, if you guys have anything else you want me to take a look at. I'm still short on Baba. However, it is bouncing up as well. So 112 is likely going to be the hedge target if you decide to do that. 112, maybe 115s in order to hedge. Right now, I'm pretty comfortable with what I got. But that would be my hedge mark. So, Jamie, we're live Monday through Friday. Occasionally, I absolutely will, like yesterday, I didn't want to waste anybody else's time. I not, again, I don't like to say I knew that it was going to be choppy, but like, you know, at some point, yeah, it was pretty easy to identify. Oh, banks look yucky. So on a lower time frame, you refuse the floor again at 238.50, and you're making your way down. On the hourly, I believe, and this is just an ugly box, but you're basically right around cost basis at the moment, which I think is just piggybacking here, because ultimately it's underneath 227.23 that I think you'll go and easily break that floor and head down to this box for 217.75. What's up, D-Man? Well, right now we're waiting for that. We were short on Baba. That was a 200% play. I took the Qs down. That was a over 700-800% play. And well, actually, it went over 1,000%. But yeah. So now I'm kind of waiting. Do you use price action? Well, not in the same way that you probably have seen people use price action, but yes. It's everything. I mean, I just like boxes, man. I use my own system, the PBS strategy. $100 milli Excel. Dude, go to my YouTube, man. Yeah, listen. You know, again, let's just see. I haven't looked at the gains page today. Yeah, 450% right there. I was trading in Canadian money. Let's go. It's one way to fight back. $112. What was that? 275%. Yeah, those are light, but good. My Discord underneath has I try the strategy, but I keep getting eaten up. I see the moves, but they don't work out. So if you see the moves but they don't work out, then there's got to be some sort of user error, right? And without having more details, I'm not sure. If the setup isn't there, yeah, hedge. Candle closes. Okay, I'll write that down. That's something that I can. Yeah, it's about time for us to start writing down our list of questions again for another Q&A. So if you are new here, which there's been a lot of new people joining, so if you're new here, damn, Ellie wrote all over my binder. That's something that we can do. Whose mic is that?
The Q's popped.
We filled the rally. Yeah. Well, that candle definitely, if anybody hedged at that mark, your hedges are probably already up. Over 444.23. We could see an end of the day rip all the way back up to 447.83. I would say that, yeah, if you're trading anything in these market conditions, I don't doubt the system ever. And it's shown itself to be, just as useful, I think, in these conditions. But there are, when you're in conditions where you don't have a signal, where you don't, like we're in range or anything like that, and the 24-hour isn't singing, that's where, yeah, if you decide to take a position, you have to have something, which, yesterday was not the best time to have that, but you don't have to put a lot on the table to do it. So managing here.
Hey, Garrett, does this bounce make you change like how you would think it about follow up for downside tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. God, these hedges are fucking jacked. Yeah, I took 447s just a second ago. For just the end of the day, they're like 11 cents. Sometimes the option chain does not let you hedge as effectively as you would like to. Sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes it is a bastard, especially on the end of the day like this, where you'll see premiums start ripping to the upside. Yeah, it can be a little tough. That wall, look at that wall. So hedging typically is done in speculative areas where maybe you know, especially if you've already taken a trade and it's been profitable and you're leaving runners on the table, you can buy less of what's on the other side. And you're looking at the fact that, maybe you've bounced off the top of a box, right? Or maybe in Baba's case, you bounced off of cost basis or one of the medians here. And so in order to protect yourself on something that does not have a signal, because it does, that's where hedging comes in, so a lot of times you just don't have to, like sometimes you just don't, and then there's certain conditions where you absolutely do. So Matthew Cole, I do.
It's a crazy bounce.
Yeah, it was crazy bounce right off of the imbalance too. But the way you were falling at the end of the day was shit. I'm wondering if they're gonna rip this shit up literally last minute, which is just gonna make the 24-hour candle settle right up against that fucking 24-hour wall, or not wall, but these wicks. So we just pulled ourselves. That signal is not gone, but it's just weakened terribly. Okay, we're going into a 4. Yeah, I hope it doesn't give us a lackluster open either. We're still closing red on the floor, right? So our, and I know it probably doesn't seem that way, but like the hope is actually that you do go up to that 447, and you do it quickly, which you already listen. This is empty space down. So this is just, if we can fill this up, that leaves us less to do tomorrow, and we could reposition ourselves and maybe even take that trade intraday. So.
We're gonna find out tomorrow that these were all insider buys. Cancel tariffs overnight.
Hey Potter, for Baba, you think 104s for tomorrow is a little too far?
No.
No.
Oh, down? No.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking shoot up. They're gonna do that in after close then.
That's what I'm saying.
Save it for after hours.
Load it up.
Hey, so Garrett, for a hedge on the Qs, you feel like 455 is outside of
No, if they springboard this back up, I think you could use 457.
Yeah, so both sides I took I grabbed 455s and the 425s.
Okay.
And Nvidia did the same damn thing.
It's the tough thing about being on those boxes is you just don't have, you hit a target like that and then, you know, individual equities are moving up. Hold on 1 second.
Funny enough, Tesla still looks pretty weak. I'm holding one runner on that.
Yeah, that'll be separate. Missed it. Well, 24-hour. If you break down on Carvana, 183. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so under 193 or 193.60, the target would be here. And that breakdown would give you 160. So a little indifferent. I do have a Discord, yes. Yeah, today, by the way, is that last day of the 35% off lifetime yearly. I think Ivy's going to take it down. Just go check on the website. You go click on the product and or on the whichever one you want, and then go from there. You'll see the little thing where you can put the code in. Was it all luck, bro? Was that what all luck? If you get lucky this many times in a row, if you hit this type of percentages this many times in a row, it's not luck. You know. Sure, they said that for a second when they looked at people who count cards and shit.
You got a cheat code. That's what it is.
There you go. Up, right, left, down. A, B.
Break box, break box. Take empty space.
There you go. All right. What a wild day. Good trade to the downside though. That was pretty sweet. No complaints by me, but this does make for a weird open. So here's my hope, right? Going into tomorrow projection wise. We're gonna do this because you technically punched below this box, you hit the imbalance on the wick, and you bounced back up, right? I swear to God. Watch, I technically, if this goes in after hours before 4:10, I can still fuck with it. So my hope is that we gap up here. If we can gap up directly to that floor, I think we'll wick up and then we'll drive right back down. Now, that could lead to some towards the end of the day chop, but I think tomorrow is our not our only shot, but our best shot at getting this empty space down. So, yeah, Netflix earnings, nothing. Getting invalid code. It's Potter Stocks 35. Somebody. All caps. Yeah, Baba was too. All right. How was Disney? It was really good. Got some much needed vitamin D. Pause. But yeah, it was expensive but amazing. Kids had a great time. They passed out like snoring every night. But yeah, we had a really good time. Listen, Diddler, I knew you were gonna fucking show up. No, I don't need any more of that vitamin. Yeah, I did. I had an espresso martini for the first time. No, I'm not. Yeah, I could see it tomorrow. I did it. Listen, if you look at let's all come back to Earth, right? Because this is the reality. We are in a massive range. Here, and even if you want to scoot it up here, right? We're still in range. Now, long weekend tension is definitely here, and I tell you what, this pop back up into the day could really set us up to do one thing or another, right? So, yeah, it's really funny that I guess you did feel that. So, pre-Easter pop 420 martial law drop. There you go.
I'm in danger.
Might be in danger. All right. Well, you still have time, but if you're looking for a for sure sign, this candle pulled itself back up. So this gives you the opportunity to take this tomorrow. If you don't feel comfortable swinging, the target is 420. If you can find contracts that are target based or even 415s, those are all palpable contracts, but yeah, we need to fill that empty space before I think we break that floor. So my hope is that and tomorrow this is what we're going to map out, is this box up above us, right? That's basically where, down this becomes the 1 2, and then we look up above us at the 2 times 2 as well. So all right, so we'll pick this back up tomorrow morning. We'll see what this results in. Again, I'd like to see a gap up to this floor, and then that way we can fill the empty space that we're creating now, because this is not much of a structure and very easily broken down below. So psychology, yeah, it's a lot, but every time you guys trade independently, you get better at seeing that stuff. Potter Stocks 35, all caps. Yep, that's the code. You typed it out. Oh, there's an S. You missed the S. All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, what are you sorry for? Oh, the mic thing. Toby, is that, yeah. Or hey, you're not lying, man. So real quick before I go, I will say this. the road to profitability for me was excluding myself from all, right? All forms of intraday trading. Because and it's tough in my position to voice that for everything that I do, because there's some things that I do that I wouldn't do if I was in your shoes. So the first and most important thing, right, if you have $500, is to make money, right? Obviously you need to learn the strategy, but yeah, you need to put money under your belt, because then you can start to put risk down. So if you are trying to make sure that that happens, the only way that the only reason that I'm here is because I made a pact with myself, right? No intraday trading. I don't care what happens. Because here's my other theory, or was, kind of my guideline here. If it was going to rip, you should have seen it. And if you didn't, you wouldn't have taken it anyway. Right? And so you just be left chasing anyway. So there are too many moves that happen overnight for you to be FOMOing on everything that happens intraday. Straight up. It's not my opinion. It's statistics. Right? So a lot of these signals show themselves at the end of the day, but yeah, I actually took a call scalp, but still just a day mindfuck. It is. And then you know what the worst part is if you do yeah, if you do scalp and you don't scalp and you have a small account and you get away with it, fuck. Now you're going to try to integrate that into your system. It's just work. So the website is in my bio. So all right, TikTok, Discord. I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? Peace. All right. Yep. Code is Potter Stocks with an S, all caps, 35, all one word. Look forward to seeing you guys in the Discord. It's been really cool. A lot of people have made the money to join the Discord beforehand. Otherwise, we will do a Q&A here probably next week on Wednesday. I haven't set a date, but that's more than likely going to be when that is. So in the meantime, write down your questions and we'll try to answer those. So Jay, that's funny. All right, peace out. This will be on YouTube.